To be like their love, you have to be yourself, follow through with people, and grow from criticism. Not first thing, be yourself. That doesn't mean be unrelenting or abrasive about yourself, but don't fake who you are. People can see through facades, and even if you've perfected your facade for a long time, at the bare minimum, people will get a feeling that something's off. People don't want to have a genuine relationship with someone who isn't going to be genuine to them. And I mean, I've seen this happen in front of me where during fraternity rushes, people would come in with rehearsed answers to questions they get asked a lot. And often, especially if you're talking to the actual recruiting team, they'll be like, okay, that's obviously a rehearsed answer. What do you actually believe? And that's just how people are. Even if they don't say it to your face, they'll at least get that feeling that something's off and you're not really being genuine. Once you're comfortable being yourself, as long as you're not into some weird degenerate activities, people are actually pretty open. It does also depend on how you present yourself. Like, it's okay to have controversial opinions, but you just don't come out guns blazing. If you're a hardcore socialist and you meet a group of people for the first time, you don't come out right away and say that you're a socialist and everyone who isn't socialist is utterly stupid. And as simple or crazy as that sounds, people genuinely do that all the time and unknowingly. When the right time comes, they're discussing politics, some recent news, or they're asking about you and you're really passionate about it, then you can mention that kind of stuff in a not rude way. I mean, I got plenty of controversial opinions and beliefs, but I have people that are complete opposites or even further than opposites from me, and I'm still great friends with them. This might sound crazy, but one of the things that cemented me this was a clip of Nick Fuentes. I came across either on Twitter or Instagram. Ever since he's been unbanned, it feels like those apps are full of clip accounts for him and pushing all of his, just pushing his narrative. I couldn't find the clip anywhere, otherwise I'd play it right now, but the clip that I saw, I believe it comes from a video call from a podcast. I don't know if they're trying to have a debate or not, but there were three others, and they mentioned something about the Holocaust. This Asian girl says, wait, he doesn't believe the Holocaust is real. Nick could have went full defensive or attack mode, which likely would have made things tense and pit people against him, but instead he just diffused the situation. He put his hands up and he said, "You got me." And the girl and some of the others laughed. I'm not advocating for any of his beliefs at all, but that's the tactic you should be using to be yourself and be genuine while also not being hostile. If you're talking to a girl at a bar and you start geekishly gushing about how Asuka's your waifu, it's not going to go well. But if you talk about your love for anime because of the storytelling aspects and you like Evangelion because it's retrospective, you'll be like my boy Anthony and you'll go on a date with the girl the next day. Shout out Anthony. But yeah, just be genuine. Next is just following through with people. It really is as simple as if you say you're going to do something, just do it. If you offer to help out your friend with a project and they text you like, hey, can you come over in a few hours or whenever you can to help me out? Just go over and help them out. Be that good friend. But the other part of that is to make sure that if they're inviting you to go places, that you go more than you don't go. Some people will tell you, oh, you should say no more than you say yes to be more mysterious. But honestly, that doesn't really work out. It can give you that mysterious image, but what'll happen to you is what happened to me. Back when I was still in high school, I was really dedicated to swimming. And if you don't know how dedicated people get, I'd go to 5 a.m. practice before school, go to school, spend another 3 to 4 hours after school, and then I'd have enough time to eat dinner, maybe get some homework in before I fell asleep, and then wake up and do it all again. And if I wasn't swimming, I was working. And what ended up happening was, especially my junior year when it was at its worst, people would invite me to go somewhere or to do something. I'd say, oh, I can't do it. I got practice or I got work. I got the swim meet coming up. And even though it was out of my control, eventually they just stopped inviting me to things. And that's not what you want to happen to you. You want people to invite you to things, and if you can make room for it, then you should go out and do it. In my junior year, I had to recover for all the lost time that I had. If I overheard my friends talking about doing something, I'd be like, hey, I'm actually trying to hang out more. I can come to this. And, after sort of forcing my way through back again, they started inviting me to things again. And I learned from that. Ever since then, if someone asks me to do something and I have the time to do it, I'll just do it. You want to be able to be reliable, because at the end of the day, part of friendship is being trustworthy and being reliable. And if you're not trustworthy or reliable, then why would they keep on trying to force you to hang out or to ask you to help them out or to be friends if you're not really giving anything in return and you're making them do all the work to bring you out? The last thing is something that I've talked about before, but that's growing from criticism. If your friends are saying that something you're doing is weird or you shouldn't be doing that or you should change, even if it sounds mean, they probably have your best interests, more likely than not. But if it's someone that you don't know or you aren't really friends with them and they're being really harsh on you, then likely it's something that's true that no one else would say. If it really is something that harsh, then you gotta ask yourself, why would someone who's friends with me say something like that? Because a lot of people, even if they're your closest friends and they want to see the best version of you, they're not going to be as upfront or as abrasive as someone who isn't friends with you. Obviously, you can't take every single bit of hate and criticism seriously, and you can't grow from all of it. Sometimes it just comes from a bad place and they might just be projecting onto you. But it never hurts to take that criticism, apply it to yourself, and think, is this something I can grow from? Is this something that I can change? When I quit swimming and I put on 10 pounds and my friends were saying, oh, you're getting a little chubby there, and a few of the people at school that didn't really like me were like, hey, you're really starting to loosen up now that you're done, eh? Obviously, it wasn't the nicest way to put it. It was a little harsh, but it put me back in check. I'm not swimming anymore. I'm not burning the extra 2,000 calories a day. I'm not being as active anymore. I need to make sure that I'm still being consistent with the gym so that I'm burning those calories and putting on muscle, staying strong, staying flexible, living a good life. And to be clear, those people that were being mean to me were my ex's friends because they all hated me, which kind of should have been a red flag, but it is what it is. But at the end of the day, if someone that doesn't like you is giving you that kind of criticism, it might be harsh, but it also might be true. So it never hurts to just apply it to yourself, and if it's something that's true or something that you can change, then you should actively strive to be better. People are saying that you're gross and you're a grease ball. Maybe it's not true. Maybe they're just hating on you. Or maybe you look in the mirror and you see that you kind of let yourself go a little bit. Maybe you need to start showering more often, taking care of your hygiene, changing your outfit, stuff like that. Not everyone's going to be super nice about it. And if it's your friends, they might not want to say or point out those things because they don't want to seem like they're being mean to you. Sometimes you do have to go to people that aren't your friends or might not have your best interest, because what they're saying, even if they're not coming from a good place, might make you a better person. And especially if it's your friends saying to do something and they're your good friends and you know that they have your best interest when they're telling you things, then you should do your best to change, or at the bare minimum show that you're changing, because you don't want to be that friend that's dealing with all these problems and people are trying to help you and you're not taking anything that they're saying, you're just brushing them off. Why would they try to help you if you're not going to listen to them? But also, take advantage of other people criticizing you and being rude to you and use it to your benefit. Anyways, that's it for now. Sorry about the delay. I'll see you in about 24 hours. You know the deal. Got a question? It's in the description, the inbox. Like, sub, and I'll see you soon.